Well, hello again, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I created a cover for my electronics panel inside my RV, as well as showing you what I had to do to change out my solar panel battery charger, or MPPT, due to a recall. This page is about a man that bought his first pickup truck after he retired. He named it the Galaxy. This truck gave him so much capability that he decided to do more with it. So he bought this horse trailer and he wished to convert into an RV so he can travel around the country and enjoy life in a different way. These are the tales of the Galaxy and the Angel Star. It all started when my electronics began to seem unsightly, and there were some people that suggested I should cover it up. So I started out with this little frame that I created for the top of it, and then I created this what's going to be the door for it later. Then I had to find some material that would cover the door so you won't see inside the panels. I used a portion of the trailer that I had cut out for the door that goes into the kitchen to cover that door. Now I had to figure out a way to attach that door. Here's what it looks like after I put it all together, but before I put on latches that holds it in place. The cover is now installed. All I gotta do now, I'm gonna put a piece of glass to cover this side, but the front side's covered. Create something to cover the top of that and cover these. And this part will be done. Looking pretty good. I also made it to where I can still open this door down here. I hadn't tried it yet. Here we go, see? That door opens up. Took some engineering, but I got it done. I had saved a piece of two glass panels from an old stereo unit that I got rid of some time ago. And I thought this might be a great opportunity for me to use these panels being repurposed to be a cover for this. I did this because of the plugs inside of my inverter. But the more and more I began to look at it, I began to wonder if I should do it. But this was my initial thought on how to proceed. This is the future. I'm going to put this glass in here where I can open it up when I need to access any of the side electric in there. You probably can't see the plugs on that inverter. But I'm going to figure out how to mount that. But that's coming next. I pondered this for a while, trying to figure out how to install this glass door on this cover. Initially, I thought about doing it in some kind of wood that would bevel into the bottom of it and something to hold it up against the top. And I could use that and maybe use a child safety latch to keep it closed. But the more and more I pondered it, the more it seemed unlikely I would use this piece of glass. But I thought I still wanted to find an opportunity to use it. So the more I looked, the more I began to wonder if this was going to be necessary. But I was trying to use all my resources to get this because I thought it would look nice. And I wanted access to the plugs. But then I began to realize I got a lot of electrical outlets inside this cabinet, inside the RV already. So I may not need access to these after all. But still, I kept on trying to figure out how to work this thing until in the meantime, I decided to look for a way of at least securing the door to the frame. And in the meantime, this is what I found as to keep the door on. These latches. So I think this is going to work out pretty good. We'll see. Install these kind of latches to hold this in place. It's luckily working pretty good. Just need to put a latch down there to keep it from moving forward and aft. Moving forward. My initial thought was to build a complete frame regardless of the door for this area. But then I began to look at it and realize that that top piece I installed was so strong that it wasn't going anywhere. And all I needed was the ability to latch the door to it, as you see here. I finally put a latch at the bottom to keep it in place, and these things locked down at the top. I had to raise one of the latches up so it can be a little tighter, but I found a way to fix that also. Now the cover is on and securely fastened. Fastener down there. Pop it in there and attach it up here. There we go. Newsflash. right in the middle of my build, I got a notification from Expert Power, the people that built my solar panel kit, that they did a recall on this MPPT due to fire possibly. So I had to stop what I was doing to replace this. Expert Power was willing to give you an option of keeping that, and they'll pay you a certain amount of money, or you can send it in and they give you a refund for it. So I chose to replace it. Hey everyone, just as I've created a cover for my electronics, I found out that Expert Power has recalled this MPPT, and they're gonna give us a refund for it. But apparently the recall was due on something that may cause fire. So I never had an issue with it. I would love to keep it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'll be taking this out, and I'll show you the new one I put in here soon. While I was waiting on my new MPPT to arrive, I decided to put a cover on this area so the inverter will still be able to breathe even though it will be covered up. And this is what the top's going to look like. I'm finished screwing that down. So it'll all be covered up and it can be able to breathe. Plus that end is going to be open so all my electronics will be able to breathe. I'll show you what it looked like when I put the cover on it. Here it is. Everything's covered up. I have to screw this down and eventually put that piece of glass to cover this. So my electronics is covered up, y'all. It won't be so obvious. All I gotta do is put a little cover on those wires going up. And I'll be set. I use a piece of pegboard for this to cover this because I know that the inverter and everything else needed to breathe. So when I put this up there, I realized that was a nice fit, and I really liked the way it looked, and it was a little more functional than I realized. In the meantime, my new Renogy Rover MPPT arrived. Time to install it. And here it is, the Renogy Rover 40 amp MPPT charge controller. And I'll show you all how I replace my other one here shortly. Now for the unboxing of my new MPPT. This is what it looked like inside. As soon as you open up the box, there's the BT1 Bluetooth adapter. And there's the thing, like it's well packed up. And there's some other things here, the wire that runs to the temperature sensor and different other things in there. So I'm gonna hook it up and show you what it looks like. This new unit appeared to be the same size as the one that I'm replacing it with, something I was concerned with. And as I mentioned earlier, I went from a 30 amp to a 40 amp. So that should work out for any future needs. Right out of the box, like a nice case. You'll see on the back, there's a hefty size heat sink on here. My only problem I see is that the screw down points are beneath the device itself. So I might have issues putting this on. I might have to preset the screws before putting it on. So that's the only thing I can see that might be a problem. The input holes look large enough to use the heavier gauge wire that I used on my other assembly. So we'll see how that works out. I was later blessed to find out that this kit included some brackets that you can place on the side of here where you can mount these outside of the body, which is going to make it easier. I thought I had to use one on the back of here, but these brackets attached to these holes, which will be mounted on my board. I'll show you that when I install it. Okay, now I'm ready to go out and change out the charger. First, I removed the cover I just built for it. Release latches. Go ahead and just lift this up and out of the way. It exposes my panel. Remember, this was changing out here from the Expert Power one to the one I got from Renogy. So what I'm going to do is take these bolts out here that I have along the sides. I'm going to disconnect these, and all I got to do is pull them down out the way. Already disconnect the solar panels from the connection up top. So all I have to do is take these probes out of the connections right up under here, and then I apply them to the new one. So to do that, I have to remove this cover. It's been a while since I've done that. Take this cover off and use a screwdriver to take those out. So I'm going to start with the solar. Disconnect the power positive. Just take that out. And then the negative. Leave those screws in place. There's some sensors that came with this. I'm going to disconnect those by pulling it out. And here are the loads to the from the inverter going to the batteries. First, I'm going to take this little plug out here. Here, pull that out. So I'm going to take the positive out first. And then I'll take the negative off. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the power to this. I may lose my light to this. I took the power off because I didn't want to take any chances while I was disconnecting this thing. We're good to go. I'm going to pull this down, make sure I have enough room for the other ones. So now all I have to do now is take out these other screws that hold that to the board. As you can see, the power went out to that because there's no power to it right now. And I'm going to remove these screws, and I'll show you what I'm going to put the other one in. While I still have power on out here, I want to go ahead and just going to show you how to hook up these brackets that came with the kit. These brackets have screws, machine holes in here that you'll be able to put under this hole here. Take one of these screws, of course turn it the right way, and you just screw the hole through like this. See, that presented a bracket that you can attach to the board and still be able to reach it from a screwdriver. So I'm going to do that for all the other three, and then we'll install it. Okay, the Renogy one has all the brackets installed and is ready to be placed. But I was wondering, because some of the items some of the controllers are bigger than the others, But you can see they're going to take up just as much space as the other one. So they're about the same size. That's good for me in my placement. So I'm going to install that and show you how I hook it up. Okay, my other camera battery died on me. I'm going to make sure it makes a point of you make sure you screw these things out before you stick those things in, and make sure they're all the way in there, and do a slight snug test. Make sure they're in there good. And on this one, the negative and positive were reversed from my old one. So make sure you do the right polarity. You hook them up. And I've already put my COM port in for my Bluetooth. And I'm going to hook up these plugs now. It goes to the solar panels. We'll see how it goes. Take the negative first, plug it in, secure it. Nice snap. And you can take the negative, the positive, bring in the cord, plug it in. There, everything is hooked up. Let me see what we have here. I'm gonna hit the switch that turns the DC power back on. There it is. It's showing the solar power that's coming in. And I gotta go through and see what all this stuff means right now. I gotta choose the right battery. Let's see here. Okay, I got mine installed. Remember I told you I had disconnected this the other day so I didn't have any extra voltage. Well, the ACR showed up here and I can't find anywhere where it shows how to fix that. But I was just watching one of Renergy's videos, and sure enough, that code showed up on one of their videos. I think that just means that the battery is charging, and that's why this thing is low. So I'm gonna go in and plug it in and see if it charges itself and see if anything changes later. I'll let you know. Okay, I finally figured out what was going on. One of these connectors wasn't fully in there, like I said, to watch out for. It surprised me that it did that. But as you can see, it shows the charge state. Everything looking good. I don't see any errors. And the app is showing similar information. Okay, this is what it looked like after the install. It wasn't too hard to do, just I was somewhat tight quarters, but I managed to do it, put it in right. Before I had the Bluetooth connection down on the board, but this time I ran it up higher so I can get a better range on the Bluetooth. So this is where I mounted it. It's looking pretty good. You hear the inverter going now. And I moved my switch to there. And I got to put a cover on that. That's why I put the Bluetooth up high. I used to keep it down on this board, but I realized I need it as high as I can get it to get a good signal. There it is, 95% complete. Everything's covered. You can hear it, but you don't see it anymore. And I'm gonna cover these up soon. I'll show you that. And I'm gonna put the glass across there. So we'll be good to go. More progress. So I got it in, and now as you can see, the cover's back on. And the more and more I looked at this thing, the more and more I realized I did not want the glass panel there. It seems to me that it's still, you'll be able to see the electronics, and I got to find a better way of doing it. And I realized I got a lot of electrical outlets throughout this RV now that I really don't need access to the plugs on the side of the inverter. So I need to find a better way. But after I took a look at what I did to the top with the pegboard and I was able to breathe, I realized that, hey, I have enough material left that I can actually create a cover from this material for the side. It would all be uniform, and the inverter would be able to breathe as well. So especially since the back side of this is out, you just can't see it. And I think that I should find a better way of making it breathe. So I created a piece for this side. And that looks wonderful, y'all. I think it goes really well with the top piece. So we're going to go with that. There it is. My electronics are fully covered. After I keep looking at the way I was going to put that glass in it, I didn't like the way it looked. So I decided to close it off. And it can still breathe. So all I can do is paint these edges on the wood here. And this right here turned out really good. I had to redo some of that. but this can breathe pretty much all the way around, so for the front. And that's got plenty of circulation through here, in the top, and in the back. What's in back from here. So that's good. All I gotta do is get a cover for that. I'm debating how I'm gonna do that. And all I gotta do is hit the power. So now you hear it come on, but you don't get to see anything. And I can actually look at the HP in the controller via Bluetooth if I want to see what's going on there. I shouldn't have to worry about any of that. It took me a lot of research to find something that was thick enough to cover all those wires, and nothing seemed to fit. Till I found this material that's made to design to keep cords down on the carpet that I could wrap around it and just zip tie it in place. That turned out pretty nicely. I finally found a convenient cover for those wires going up. I think that looks great, y'all. This one color going up. I can leave it just like that. Thank you, Lord. This cover turned out way better than I expected, and I may not even have to paint it, but I think I will anyway, so I can let it blend in with the wall. But I really appreciate how this turned out. It covers everything, and if you didn't know the electronics are there, you wouldn't see it. What amazed me when I sat back and thought back, this is how this thing looked when I moved there back in January of 2023, and this is what it looks like now. There's quite a difference. More was added to it along the way, and now you can't see it. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye-bye.